I am Amelia Anindyta with student number 222030298. This debate video created to fulfill the final assignment. The motion is: this House believes that developed nations have a responsibility to provide free tertiary education globally. I am the government team will convey my arguments that I strongly stand in affirmation of the motion that developed nations have a responsibility to provide free tertiary education globally. We contend that providing widespread access to quality higher education confers profound benefits that uplift humanity across national borders. As the world's wealthiest and most innovative nations in fields spanning technology to medicine, developed countries have both a moral obligation and pragmatic self-interest to contribute their immense academic resources and expertise towards education initiatives abroad. This represents a wise investment towards developing skilled workforces and empowered communities overseas, which ultimately advance progress everywhere. I will expand on three key arguments. Firstly, higher education cultivates essential high-level skills, knowledge, and critical thinking that fuel innovation, research advancement, and socio-economic development all over the world. Developed nations have a wealth of top universities and academic talent that can immensely nourish this intellectual capital within emerging countries still working to uplift their educational infrastructure. Sponsoring students from disadvantaged backgrounds with academic scholarships helps dismantle socio-economic barriers to highly impactful learning opportunities. Secondly, providing accessible world-class tertiary education promotes greater intercultural connections, discourse, understanding between nations at an influential level, serving diplomacy and international cooperation. Future leaders across fields studying abroad can forge lasting professional networks and rapport with international peers to society's benefit. Lastly, but fundamentally, there are reciprocally beneficial outcomes for developed nations that responsibly promote education abroad, from augmenting their geopolitical soft power, accelerated research progress, economic gains, and more. Global talent and innovation demonstrably thrive when all qualified, driven students regardless of origin have access to advanced learning and resources that let them excel. Brain circulation policies attracting global talent circulating between educational hubs fuels prosperity. For these reasons and more, we strongly urge an affirming ballot to invest in our shared future. The immense potential of millions of disadvantaged but bright, hardworking students around the world seeking personal growth through life-changing educational opportunities hangs in the balance. The markers of just, equitable civilization surely recognize no nationality in 2023. We welcome a constructive debate on the best policy avenues to broaden tertiary access worldwide. In summary, my case defending developed nations' responsibility to provide free tertiary education globally stands on three pillars. 1. Higher learning cultivates talent that accelerates innovation and progress everywhere. We possess a duty to nurture such precious intellectual capital abroad lacking resources. 2. Academic exchange programs promote cultural bridges, diplomacy, cooperation, sponsoring bright socio-economically disadvantaged students, expand access to society's top echelons now and generations forward. Finally, growing global talent pools and collaboration networks deliver reciprocal benefits, prioritizing people over profits or borders, brain circulation policies, attracting the best minds to leading educational hubs drives prosperity for all. I counted moral clarity demands, viewing human potential as universally sacred. In 2021, no child's learning growth opportunities should be valued less for geography's lottery. We move that developed countries subsidizing tertiary education costs for qualified developing world students is prudent investment towards an equitable future for humankind. Progress lifts all boats. That's all my arguments. Thank you. I am the opposition team will convey my arguments that I agree with the sentiment behind uplifting education standards for disadvantaged youth everywhere so their talent and potential can be cultivated. However, the specific of forcing developed nations to fund free tertiary education globally are clearly problematic policy with concerning implications for both the sponsor countries and attending students that require further debate. Here are four main flaws with this motion. Firstly, developed countries diverting vast funds abroad to sponsor free tertiary education inevitably due to budgets available for pressing domestic issues like healthcare, pensions, upgrading infrastructure, directly negatively impacting their taxpayers. A government's responsibilities logically must prioritize its own citizens first before non-essential foreign aid. Secondly, free overseas university seems often benefit a tiny elite portion of developing world students already clearly academically gifted, yet the policy fails to confront the more damaging lack of quality primary and secondary education crippling youth advancement in most developing countries. Sponsors would be better targeting where educational gaps are most extreme. Thirdly, graduates gaining credentials and skills training intended for overseas jobs often cannot apply them properly back in their home countries which lack those advanced professional ecosystems. This causes serious ongoing brain drain issues, losing their brightest minds abroad long term instead of retaining talent where progress lacks most. Lastly, ensuring consistent education quality control becomes near impossible across a global network of tertiary institutions in various developed nations. Students from less developed countries risk receiving greatly inconsistent, confusing experience abroad. Again, the priority should be stabilizing robust educational foundations at home first. In summary, while seeking to educate those less fortunate seems morally right, realistically, forcing taxpayers to fund foreign tertiary education without consent is clearly problematic for both developed and developing countries. We agree with the spirit behind wanting to uplift education everywhere so talent can be cultivated, but this specific policy is half-baked and counterproductive for all parties involved. We welcome debating alternative solutions during this discussion that avoid these issues but still pragmatically broaden academic opportunities worldwide in ethical ways. To conclude, I align it with the well-intentioned spirit behind global educational upliftment. However, the motion specifics were deeply problematic. 1. Straining developed country budgets reduce quality public services for taxpayers lacking consent, ignores government's domestic duties. 2. Tertiary sponsorships benefit an elite view but overlook primary and secondary level gaps, denying developing world youth advancement opportunities. 3. Overseas graduates face skill application barriers and brain drain issues upon returning home still lacking robust professional ecosystems. 4. best quality control challenges arises trying to standardize tertiary experiences worldwide. We believe constructive solutions exist that avoid these downfalls. Direct funding developing countries to build educational infrastructure avoids disrupting students' support systems. Offering online tertiary courses and bilateral partnerships lets universities assist with context-appropriate skills training minus exorbitant travel costs and displacement. In conclusion, while developed countries have some charitable duties abroad, providing free global education requires balancing wisdom and pragmatism on sustainability and outcome. We submit priorities must focus on uplifting education quality where gaps remain widest. Progress rises from firm foundations. We urge opposition. That's all my arguments. Thank you.